We apologize for that break in transmission. On Global TV News Express, federal government meets Afenifere leaders, assures on security equity. JAMB orders arrest of parents found at CBT centers. National Assembly shift resumption to April 30th. On the foreign scene, Ukraine warns of WW3 ahead of long-stalled Congress aid vote. And in sport, Football Association Cup replays to be scrapped from first round. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his administration's resolve to pursue a comprehensive economic security framework for the country, while addressing foundational challenges and creating a fair and equitable system in which all Nigerians can thrive. The president stated this while hosting leaders of Afenifere, the Apex Yoruba Socio-Cultural Group, at the State House in Abuja. Kike Lomo Kere has the rest of the story.
Speaking when he received leaders of Afenifere leaders, the president says his administration is re-engineering Nigerian finances and seeking to boost the purchase power of citizens and spread prosperity down the line by instituting a credit system where the element of cash is not an impediment to a significantly enhanced standard of living for all citizens, adding that Nigeria must secure itself economically first before it can achieve any of its more sophisticated objectives.
We have the solid mirror that has attracted a lot of insecurity, scavenging, and others. Then we have special forces that is facing that now. We will have an effective forest guards that will be, fully in control of our forests in the country.
Speaking on the security, the president declared that those who threaten the sovereignty of Nigeria will pay a heavy price.
From hosting flags on the Nigerian properties and sovereignty, we have degraded terrorism to a level that they could not threaten the sovereignty of this country any longer.
Earlier in his remark, His Royal Majesty Oba Olufalaye commended the president for his courageous decision and for the rehabilitation of the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos, as well as other critical ongoing projects. He urged the president not to relent in ensuring fairness and equity for all Nigerians, while noting the importance of a constitutional amendment to devolve more powers to states. President Tinubu, however, thanked the esteemed delegation for their prayers and support, assuring them that he will not relent in his resolve to advance Nigeria. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The National Assembly has again postponed the resumption of plenary to April 30th to allow for the full renovation of both main chambers. The Senate and House of Representatives have shifted resumption after its Easter and Eid recess to April 23rd. It announced a rescheduling of its plenary resumption. The notice of postponement of resumption by the clerk of the Senate, Chinedu Akobueze, also stated that lawmakers would also be reconvening back to the main chambers upon resumption. Additionally, the extended timeline will allow for more concerted preparation for the legislative summit on state police, as well as the one on tax reforms, revenue enhancement, and digital transformation coming up in the next 2 weeks. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, has called on the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, to follow the path of decency and submit himself for probe. Bello is being wanted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged corrupt practices while in office as governor of Kogi State. According to the AGF, in a statement he personally signed stating that EFCC is empowered by law to invite any Nigerian for interrogation. He also described the action of the incumbent governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Ododo, who used his immunity to prevent Bello's arrest, as disquieting, adding that embarking on a temporizing self-help and escapism that can only put Nigeria in bad light before the rest of the world is not the way to go. The Commissioner of Police, FCT, CP Bennett Igwe, has expressed heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the management and personnel of the FCT Police Command for the kind gesture of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for fulfilling his promise to the command. The minister had directed the FCT Command to hunt down and arrest or neutralize 2 wanted bandits kidnapping kingpins who had been terrorizing Abuja, particularly the Buhari, Dutse, Alhaji and Kubwa axis. He backed the decisive action directive by placing a bounty of 20 million naira on 2 notorious and most wanted kidnappers on February 14, 2024, and has matched his words with action following the arrest of the 2 wanted kidnappers. Bayelsa State are yet to access immunization due to the terrain and riverine nature of the state. Media aide to Bayelsa Deputy Governor Dwobara Atasi, in a statement, stated that UNICEF also donated 6 brand new water ambulances built to boost immunization coverage and primary care delivery services in riverine communities of the state. Speaking during the donation ceremony in Yenogwa, the UNICEF country representative in Nigeria, Kristen Mundwati, applauded the state government for prioritizing healthcare delivery services, especially in the primary healthcare sector. She noted that the 6 water ambulances donated by UNICEF and its partners were meant to close up existing gaps in the health sector, as Bayelsa still had about 20,000 children yet to be reached for immunization. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, has directed all computer-based test center owners to arrest any parent who is found near any of their facilities during the 2024 UTME exercise. The body said all arrangements have been concluded for the conduct of the 2024 UTME, which will be held in over 700 CBT centers across the nation. The directive was issued at the final briefing of the computer-based test center owners, which was held virtually. The board said the directive became necessary following the intrusive disposition of some parents during the board's previous exercises. A former Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Yusuf Zailani, has denied claims that the 9th Assembly, under his leadership, approved the $350 million World Bank loan obtained by former Governor Nasir El-Rufai. The Kaduna State House of Assembly had set up a fact-finding committee to probe all finances, loans and contract projects awarded, as well as other financial spending and abandoned projects initiated by the immediate past government between 2015 to 2023 under El-Rufai's administration. The Speaker of the Assembly, Yusuf Liman, inaugurated the 13-man committee during plenary. The constitution of the committee followed a motion moved by the member representing the Kauru constituency, Mugu Yusuf, asking the House to investigate all the loans obtained by the El-Rufai administration. Former Governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has been whisked away from his Abuja residence by his successor, Governor Usman Ododo. According to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, this is coming after operatives of the anti-graft agency laid siege to the Wuse Zone 4 residence of the former Kogi governor for most of Wednesday. As the EFCC operatives surrounded the ex-governor's residence, his successor, Ododo, arrived amid cheers from the supporters of Bello, who had gathered to support the embattled principal. The Kogi State governor, after a while, left the premises of his predecessor, with the anti-graft agency confirming that he took Bello along with him. This development now puts in doubt the ex-governor's expected arraignment on a 19-count charge before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The Ogun State Community Social Orientation and Safety Corps, popularly known as SoSafe Corps, has arrested 3 members of a gang of armed robbers said to be terrorizing residents of Iroko Arije in Ado-Odo, Ota local government area of the state. This was contained in a statement issued by the office of the state commander of the Corps, Soji Gonzalo. Soji, I beg your pardon, through this office of the Director of Information and Public Relations of the Corps Assistant Commander, Moruf Yusuf. The suspects were said to have been arrested on April 16, 2024, after the operatives of the SoSafe officers from Iroko Arija Divisional Headquarters responded to the distress call from the community. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed in the northeast have rescued one of the kidnapped students from the Chibok Secondary School, Lydia Simon. A statement from the Department of Army Public Relations said Lydia, who was in serial number 68, was rescued along with her 3 children by troops conducting Operation Desert Sanity 3. So far, out of 271 students that were kidnapped by Boko Haram insurgents, 57 girls escaped shortly in 2014. 103 were released through the intervention of the federal government. 20 others were freed by the efforts of the state government, while 92 students are still in captivity. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed an application by the former governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, challenging the powers of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to prosecute him. Obiano, who was arraigned on January 24, is standing trial on 9 charges bordering on alleged 4 billion naira theft. But in a preliminary objection filed by the defendant through his lawyer, Onyechi Ikpeazu, senior advocate of Nigeria, he said the EFCC lacked the power to prosecute him. He also urged the court to quash the instant charges against him, describing them as an abuse of court process. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, federal government deploys technology to detect sudden power drop. This and other stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. On the foreign scene, Ukraine's Prime Minister has stated that there will be a third world war if Ukraine loses its conflict with Russia, as he urged the U.S. Congress to pass a long-stalled foreign aid bill. Denis Shimal expressed careful optimism that U.S. lawmakers would pass the hotly contested measure, which has $61 billion earmarked for Kyiv. The House of Representatives is set to vote on the package this Saturday. The proposal includes funding for Israel as well as the Indo-Pacific. Russia says any fresh American aid for Ukraine will not make a difference on the battlefield, as situation on the front line is looking unfavorable to Kyiv. To business. In a bid to address the recurrent collapse of Nigeria's power grid, the federal government has deployed a new technology to detect and respond to sudden drops or dips in power generation across the country. Nigeria witnessed its sixth power grid collapse of 2024 the preceding day as electricity generation on the system collapsed from 2,583.77 megawatts at 2 a.m. on Monday to 64.7 megawatts around 3 a.m. before the grid was restored later in the day. Though the Transmission Company of Nigeria attributed the cause of Monday's grid collapse to a fire incident, it had consistently blamed gas shortage for power generation and the vandalism of power infrastructure for the current cases of grid collapse in Nigeria. The Central Bank of Nigeria has clarified reasons for the significant decline in the nation's foreign exchange reserves, asserting that it wasn't primarily aimed at defending the naira, as commonly believed, but rather to partially repay debt owed to creditors. The bank further expressed its desire to minimize its involvement in the market, aiming to foster a scenario where prices are determined through the interactions of willing buyers and sellers. The CBN Governor Olayemi Kadosio gave the explanation during the ongoing International Monetary Fund World Bank spring meetings holding in Washington, D.C., United States. On entertainment, American rapper Nelly and R&B sensation Ashanti have announced their engagement and the impending arrival of their first child together. The couple shared the news in an interview, making a new chapter in their relationship. The singer revealed her excitement about the impending motherhood, emphasizing the joy of sharing the experience with her family, fiancé, and devoted fans who have supported her throughout her career. Ashanti and Nelly's journey to parenthood comes after a long and storied relationship. The couple initially began dating in 2003 but parted ways in 2013. In sports, Mikel Arteta has urged Arsenal to use the pain of the Champions League quarter-final exit against Bayern Munich to fuel their Premier League title bid. Arteta's side failed to clinch a first semi-final appearance since 2009 as Joshua Kimmich's second-half header gave Bayern a 1-0 second leg win and a 3-2 aggregate success. It was a bitter evening in Munich for Arteta and his players, who had dreamed of leading Arsenal to their maiden Champions League crown. Title holders Manchester City are out of the UEFA Champions League following a 4-3 penalty shootout defeat to Real Madrid in their quarter-final second leg at Etihad Stadium. Madrid beat Man City 4-3 on penalties to progress to their 33rd Champions League semi-final. Manchester City outplayed Real Madrid once more, but this time they lacked the cutting edge and the arrogance that their Champions League reign came to an agonizing end on penalties. Bernardo Silva and Mateo Kovacic were the culprits as they were thwarted by Madrid goalkeeper Andre Lunin in the shootout after a 1-1 draw following 90 minutes and then extra time. As we end the News Express, let's take a look at our top stories. Federal government met Afenifere leaders assured on security equity. JAMB have ordered arrest of parents found at CBT centers. National Assembly has shifted resumption to April 30th. On the foreign scene, Ukraine warned of WW3 ahead of long-stalled Congress aid vote. And in sport, Football Association Cup replay to be scrapped from first round. That's it on News Express, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're in Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.